the stars above us are mapped in stunning detail. But the world below us remains almost entirely unknown. More than 80% of our ocean has never been seen. We have better maps of Mars than of our own seafloor. Down there, sunlight ends and a different planet begins. Pressure builds until steel groans and submarines must be reinforced. Creatures glow in colors no human eye evolved to recognize. Mountains taller than the Alps rise in total darkness. And somehow, we know more about the void above us. Tonight, we descend to understand why. Look up on a clear night. You see galaxies, planets, distant suns mapped with breathtaking precision. Now look down at the sea. From the surface, it appears endless, featureless blue. Yet beneath that blue lies a world far stranger than anything orbiting above us. The ocean covers about 70% of Earth's surface. Most of it has never been observed directly. By contrast, we have imaged the full surface of the Moon, Mars, and Venus in detail. The reason is not lack of curiosity. The reason is physics, history, and pressure. Space, in many ways, is easier to study than the deep ocean. That sounds impossible. But light travels freely through space. Radio signals cross millions of kilometers without barriers. Telescopes on Earth can capture photons from galaxies billions of light years away. Water, however, blocks almost everything. Light fades within the first few hundred meters. By 1,000 meters down, the ocean is utterly black. No sunlight reaches the abyss. Radio waves, our favorite tool for space, die almost instantly in salt water. To see the deep ocean, you cannot use a telescope. You must physically go there. And going there is brutally hard. The deep ocean is one of Earth's most hostile environments. At 4,000 meters, pressure exceeds 400 atmospheres. Every square centimeter carries crushing weight. A standard submarine cannot survive it. Most military subs operate far above this depth. To reach the abyss, engineers build specialized vehicles with titanium hulls and reinforced viewports. Only a handful of crude submersibles in the world can dive past 6,000 meters. Compare that to satellites. Thousands orbit Earth right now, photographing every continent in real time. We can watch a storm form over the Atlantic from space within minutes. But we cannot watch what happens on the seafloor below that same storm. The deep is dark, silent, and effectively sealed from our most powerful instruments. To map it, we use sonar. Sound waves bounce off the seafloor and return. It works, but slowly. A single ship can map only a narrow strip per pass. To survey the entire ocean floor this way would take many decades of ship time. Most of what we call the seafloor map is actually rough estimates from satellite gravity data. The fine detail, the canyons and ridges and trenches, remains blurry. Meanwhile, robotic missions have crawled the surface of Mars for years. We have hundreds of thousands of high-resolution images from another planet. Yet many regions of our own seafloor have been visited fewer times than the Moon. It is not exaggeration. It is geometry, pressure, and budget. Space exploration draws enormous public funding and international prestige. Ocean exploration, despite touching every coastline on Earth, receives a fraction of that money. A single deep-sea expedition can cost tens of thousands of dollars per day. And when something breaks down there, recovery is rarely possible. The deep ocean swallows mistakes whole. Now imagine descending anyway. The surface fades, blue darkens to indigo, then to ink. At 200 meters, the so-called twilight zone begins. Only faint blue light remains. By 600 meters, the last photons of sunlight vanish completely. Below that lies the midnight zone, a column of perpetual darkness reaching thousands of meters. Here, animals make their own light. Bioluminescence flickers in pale blues and greens. A jellyfish pulses past, glowing softly along the rim of its bell. A small fish drifts by with rows of living lanterns running down its sides. Scientists believe most deep-sea species produce some form of light. We have cataloged only a fraction of them. Every serious expedition into the deep brings back creatures never seen before. translucent octopuses, eels with hinged jaws, worms that feed on sunken whale bones. Each discovery hints at thousands more still hiding in the dark. Researchers estimate that millions of marine species remain undescribed. Could you survive a single dive into this darkness alone with what glows? Tell me below. Now keep descending. The pressure climbs, the temperature drops near freezing. You enter the abyssal plain, a vast flat expanse of fine sediment. It stretches farther than any desert on land, yet almost no human has seen it. Soft snow drifts down constantly, tiny particles of dead plankton sinking from above. Scientists call it marine snow. It feeds entire ecosystems built on darkness. Sea cucumbers crawl across the silt, pale shrimp dart between cold currents. And somewhere in this plain, a ridge begins to rise. Mid-ocean ridges form the largest mountain system on Earth. They wind around the planet for tens of thousands of kilometers, mostly unseen. Along these ridges, hydrothermal vents pour superheated water into the cold. Around them, life thrives without sunlight, powered entirely by chemistry from the Earth itself. Giant tube worms cluster like crimson forests. Blind crabs walk slowly across hot stone. This ecosystem was unknown to science until 1977. That is more recent than the moon landing. We stepped onto another world before we found these gardens on our own planet. It is one reason scientists say the ocean is the true final frontier. Beyond the ridges lie the trenches, the deepest scars on Earth. The Mariana Trench plunges nearly 11 kilometers below the surface. If Mount Everest were dropped in, its summit would remain over 2 kilometers underwater. Only a few humans have ever reached the bottom. More people have walked on the moon than have descended to the Challenger Deep. Down there, the pressure is over 1,000 times that at the surface. And yet, life still exists. Tiny crustaceans, microbes, strange translucent fish. How they survive remains an active scientific puzzle. Their proteins, their cells, their chemistry are built differently to resist the crush. Studying them may reshape what biology considers possible. This is part of why the ocean matters beyond curiosity. The deep sea regulates our climate, absorbing vast amounts of carbon and heat. It hosts ecosystems that may hold compounds useful for future medicine. It shapes weather, fisheries, oxygen, and the chemistry of our entire planet. Yet we are about to change it before we even understand it. Mining companies are now eyeing the abyssal plain for metal-rich nodules. These nodules formed over millions of years and host fragile, slow-growing life. Once disturbed, scientists warn recovery could take geological timescales. We risk industrializing a world we have barely begun to describe. Compare this to space, where treaties limit national claims and exploitation. The deep ocean has fewer protections and far less public attention. It is hard to defend a place no one has seen. Maybe that is the strangest truth of all. We dream of distant planets, of life on Europa or Enceladus. But beneath our own waves lies an ocean possibly larger than every alien sea combined. It hides creatures we have never named and landscapes we have never charted. Its trenches go deeper than our imagination usually travels. The deep ocean is not science fiction. It is here, tonight, below your feet if you sail far enough. And it is older, vaster, and more alive than the silence above us suggests. We know more about space because space is generous with its light. The ocean is generous with its mystery. Stars send their secrets across the universe for free. The sea forces you to come down and ask in person. Perhaps one day, fleets of autonomous submarines will map every trench. Perhaps new sensors will let us listen to the deep as clearly as radio telescopes hear the cosmos. Perhaps your generation will be the first to truly see this hidden world. Until then, much of our own planet remains a closed door, a dark, cold breathing room beneath the waves. If this descent moved you, leave a thought in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on the bell for more journeys below the light. Because the deepest mystery on Earth is not above us. It has been here all along, waiting in the dark.